Hello everyone, welcome to a very special episode of Chasing the Cup. I am your host, Will England, and in this episode, I'm going to be talking about a big major sponsor coming in and helping fund the next generation of stars in NASCAR. Like last week, I will also go over my expectations and who I think will be a competitor in the Truck Series. Of course, I'll get to the news, and I'm going to give my picks for Daytona, including the Daytona 500. But first, I am a gentleman, and one thing gentlemen do is let the ladies go first. So let's get started with our first story. The first story is that Busch Light is pledging $10 million to help sponsor 7 female drivers in NASCAR's series as part of Busch Light's Accelerate Her program. And in my opinion, this is a great thing for Busch Light to do, but in my opinion, it should have been done earlier because there's been a lot of women that have came in and out of the sport that never had the chance because they didn't have the funding. Like drivers like Johanna Long, who regularly outperformed her equipment. She certainly had talent, but she never had that chance. And then you had Kelly Earnhardt Miller, who many people said was even better than her brother Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is now a NASCAR Hall of Famer and 2-time Daytona 500 champion. So seeing this program will be a big push for these drivers because some women drivers have not had the chance, but these drivers will have the chance, and they better prove to their sponsor that they can get it done. Now, Busch Light has chosen 7 women. I'm going to go over each of these 7 drivers that they chose and give my opinion. Now, some of these drivers probably were not supposed to be in here originally. In my opinion, they might be fillers for future drivers, but they're only in here for a specific reason. So I'm going to do this in the order of the picture. If you want to see that picture, go to NASCAR.com and look up the article. But I'm going to do it from the picture from left to right. So first is Amber Balcon. She is 29 years old, and she comes from Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada. She's known for her big success on the dirt, but since moving over to asphalt, she's not had that much success. She's going to be one of 2 female drivers to run full-time in ARCA, and she'll drive for Rhett Jones Racing in the 30. She's also known for her modeling, and is also known for starring in the drama show Racing Wives. So in my opinion, Amber needs to show that she can run good on asphalt. And she needs to put all her focus on driving, and try to do not too much of the modeling and the acting to prove that she has the talent and is not there just for her looks. Next is Britney Zamora. She is 22 years old from Kennewick, Washington. In 2019, she earned 6 top 5s, 10 top 10s, 2 poles, and an average finish of 9.1, and finished 5th in the ARCA West Series, driving for Bill McAnally Racing, which is actually similar results to her teammate, who was also a female driver, Hayley Deacon. So she has the talent, but that talent may have been wasted because since then she's moved to pro late models and now runs at Montgomery Motor Speedway in Alabama. So I really hope that she can get back into professional racing in ARCA or somewhere in NASCAR. I hope this money from Busch can help her out. And now, here's probably the first driver that I consider possibly a placeholder, probably because of her age. Now, the program is for the next generation of young female drivers, but trust me, this individual is not that young. So the next driver up is Jennifer Joe Cobb, coming in the not so young age of 48 years old. I have no idea why she's in the program, since in my opinion she's probably on the brink of retirement soon, unless she wants to be a female red farmer of some kind. I think she's only a placeholder because of who's sponsoring her. She is from Kansas City, Kansas, and she only has 1 top 10 in the NASCAR Truck Series. And she is primarily known for running for Start and Park and backmarker teams in the top 3 series, and she is currently an owner in trucks. So I hope that this money can help make her program better, but I'm not sure how much that's going to be put to her program and how long she's going to stay in the program before she retires soon. Next up is Toni Brightinger, who is the youngest driver in this group at 22 years old. She is from Hillsborough, California. She has 3 top 10s and an average finish of 14.8 in ARCA, and she'll be the second of 2 women to run full-time in ARCA, and she'll run for Venturini Motorsports in the 25. But she is also known for some modeling, and she is known for sponsorship by Huda Beauty. And so, in my opinion, this is probably Tony Brightinger's make or break year because she's going to be in a competitive team. And if she doesn't do well in the next couple of years in that ride, if she returns next year, then who knows how her career will go. Next is Melissa Field, and she is 29 years old and from Wakefield, New Hampshire. She is the most popular driver in the Whelen Modified Series, and she races for her family-owned team. And that's probably the only positive things I can say, because most of the races she enters, she DNFs. But most of the DNFs are equipment related. So I think the DNFs are from mechanical failures, and her family-owned team's probably struggling. So I hope this money can help out with that team and be competitive, but her program better get better if she wants to stay in this group, and I think she may be one of the other placeholders for another driver. Next up on the list is probably the least popular driver on this list, and it's Natalie Decker. Natalie's 24 years old and from Eagle River, Wisconsin. She only has one top 5 in trucks, and she's going to be running part-time with the Rayum brothers in their Xfinity car in the 33. One thing she's known for a lot is for her modeling, and the other thing she's known for is the Bristol incident in 2019 when she was getting pushed off the track by a wrecker and she got spun out by the wrecker. And she is labeled by many as a potential bust. So I hope Natalie Decker can prove these people wrong, but if she doesn't improve, she will probably be one of the biggest busts in NASCAR, and she hasn't shown her talent, so she better improve. And then last on this list is Stephanie Moyer. Stephanie is 24 years old, and she's from Shepton, Pennsylvania. She has 2 top 10s in ARCA West, and she's going to run with Fast Track Racing in the 01, but I'm not sure if she's running part-time or full-time because the lack of sponsorship besides Busch. But one thing she's known for is being sponsored by her fans with their hashtag Powered by Fans campaign. And so I hope this helps Stephanie make more races and be competitive in the 01 and bring that program up. So as I mentioned, who I consider to be 2 placeholders, so I'm going to mention 2 drivers that did not make the cut for this program this year, and that's probably because they're under the drinking age of 21. And that is Hayley Deacon and Gracie Trotter. Both are actually ARCA Series winners, and they're the only female drivers to have wins in ARCA. So hopefully when they do turn the legal age of 21, that they get this sponsorship, because they can't have it now because it is against U.S. law. And so that's it for the girls. So now let's talk about the trucks. Now, like last time, I'm going to go over these in the final order of the standings from last year. So let's get started with your defending NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion, Ben Rhodes. And what I want to see from him is to win races and defend his title come Phoenix, and see if he can go back-to-back. Next is Zane Smith, who is moving over from GMS to Front Row Racing's truck program, which is basically a David Gilliland Racing satellite team, but has more success than them. And so what I want to see from Zane Smith is to win races and see if he can be competitive with that truck, because Ford is probably the slowest manufacturing trucks, and I hope Ford improves, and so does Zane Smith. Next is John Hunter Nemechek, who is returning to the truck series. Many people thought he'd move up this year, but he is going to do another year in trucks. He was the dominant truck last year, and what I want to see from him is redemption, because after being in trouble in Phoenix all night, he had to settle for a 3rd place finish in the standings. And so I want to see him get redemption and become a champion and be dominant like last year. Next is Matt Crafton. Now, Crafton is getting older, but he is a former champion. His last championship came in 2019. And so what I want to see from Matt Crafton is for him to win some races and see if he can go for the title. He is still competitive, but he didn't win any races last year. So I want to see Matt Crafton get a victory. Next is Stewart Friesen. Stewart Friesen has a couple of truck wins to his name, but he's primarily known for his skills on the dirt, including his good runs at Eldora and Knoxville. So what I want to see from Stewart Friesen is to improve running on asphalt and see if he can improve his skills on asphalt and be competitive. Next is Chandler Smith, who is your Rookie of the Year. And so what I want to see from Chandler Smith is to break out. If he can break out this year, then he can prove to Kyle Busch that he is a force to be reckoned with in the Truck Series. He got 2 wins last year, and if he doesn't suffer a sophomore slump, then he'll be very competitive this year. Next is Carson Hostavar. Hostavar was competitive. He made the playoffs, but finished last in the playoffs. So what I want to see from Carson Hostavar is if he can improve and finally win a Truck Series race. He's well known for his personality and his hats, and so I hope he can break out and win. And finally, I'm going to talk about a driver-owner in the series, and that is Jordan Anderson. Jordan last year ran part-time, and he originally was supposed to run full-time in Xfinity, but due to a DNQ at the first race, his team struggled to get points last year, and that led to Ty Gibbs, who ran a partial schedule, to win the Xfinity Rookie of the Year. And so what I want to see from Jordan is to finally get that win. He's not that competitive on 1.5 short tracks, but he is very competitive on the plate tracks, and for the past 2 years, he's finished runner-up barely, and he's come so close to winning at Daytona. I hope his team will be competitive this year. So now on to the news. The first piece of news is that Cesar Baccarella has been reinstated into NASCAR following a suspension due to a failed drug test. Cesar Baccarella said that he did not know that he was taking a banned substance because it was in a supplement. Next, Joe Gibbs Racing has announced 2 drivers for its trophy hunting team. The first was revealed on Wednesday and was hyped up by Joe Gibbs Racing, and that driver is Trevor Bayne, who is considered to be a bust to many because he only had that 1 win at Daytona in the Daytona 500 in 2011, and he performed a lot worse after that. And so Trevor Bayne will be in decent equipment, so I hope Trevor Bayne can prove everyone that he is indeed not a bust and that he has a chance to get back into NASCAR. And the other driver is Drew Dollar. I bet your face is just dropped to the floor when I say Drew Dollar, because Drew Dollar is viewed by many as a potential bust. He only has 1 win in ARCA that came at Talladega, at the worst race at Talladega in 2020, and was said to become Rookie of the Year until he became very inconsistent, and that led to Hayley Deacon getting the title of Rookie of the Year. So Drew Dollar better show in that number 18 ride that he can be competitive. And so this trophy hunting team will be in the 18, and Ty Gibbs has been confirmed to run full-time in the Xfinity Series with Joe Gibbs Racing, but nobody knows what the official number is yet, but some have speculated that it is the 54. NY Racing has announced that they will attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500 this week with former Roush Fenway Racing driver Greg Biffle. In my opinion, I hope they do well this year and qualify for the race. I hope they don't wreck out in the duels. I hope Biffle can win the race with them if he can. And here's some stories from the business side of NASCAR, and that is that the drivers have formed a Drivers Advisory Council, and the director is Jeff Burton. And of course, Jeff Burton is definitely worthy of that title because he is, of course, the mayor. So this is basically the replacement for the Drivers Council that was established during the Brian France era, but that didn't really help with anything because NASCAR did not get anything from that council. And what the drivers want to do is let this be a bridge between NASCAR and the drivers so that way they can work on making decisions together. Next, Thad Moffitt will run a limited truck schedule starting at Daytona this weekend with GMS Racing in an alliance with the Ram brothers, and he's going to run the 43 truck with STP. In my opinion, it looks like Thad Moffitt is now joining his family and may move over to Petty GMS Racing when he is cup ready, which gives me speculation if there's going to be any room for him, but that'll be for another time. But for now, this will be probably Thad Moffitt's big break. I hope he does well with this break. He's ran the past few seasons with DGR and ARCA, but last year, without Hayley Deacon being there, he was the fastest forward, but DGR's always way behind, and he and Hayley Deacon for the past few seasons have been getting all they can out of that car. So this will definitely be a competitive ride for him, and I hope he's very competitive and has a future in this sport. And finally, sadly, I'm going to end off with some sad news. Wendell Scott Jr., son of Hall of Famer Wendell Scott, has died. Now it's sad to see him go. I hope his family is doing well. And that's it for the news. So now it's time for the moment you have all been waiting for, my picks for Daytona. Now before we get into the picks, since this is a Daytona 500 special, I want to look back at one of the most iconic moments in Daytona 500. This month is the 30th anniversary of the 1992 Daytona 500, and the winner of that race was Davey Allison. And that was the start of a dominant year for Davey Allison, being one of the three dominant drivers that year, including Bill Elliott and Alan Kulwicki, and was the points leader coming into the final race at Atlanta, but he lost that race due to a collision with Ernie Irvan. But he would never have the chance for redemption because he would be involved in a helicopter crash in Talladega the next year, but he would not survive, and he died too young, dying at the age of 32. Who knows what it would have been for Davey Allison if he had survived. Would he be a NASCAR champion? We may never know. So after that sad note, here are my picks for the Daytona 500. I'm going to do all three series with Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. For Trucks, this driver, as I mentioned earlier, has finished second the past two races for the Truck Series in Daytona. In my opinion, he's going to get it this time. I'm going to say Jordan Anderson will win the truck race this Friday. And that race will be on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Next we have the Xfinity Race with the creatively named Beef. It's What's for Dinner 300, which will be at 5 p.m. on Saturday Eastern Time. And my pick for the Xfinity Series, I'm going to go with a Kaulig driver, since they've been the most dominant drivers on plate tracks. And the driver I will choose is Landon Cassill. This will be Landon Cassill's big break in that 10 ride for Kaulig. So I think if he can do well at Daytona, then he'll definitely be a contender in the playoffs. And because of Kaulig's dominance at plate tracks, he'll definitely have a great shot. And then finally, we have Stock Car's biggest race, the Daytona 500. The Daytona 500 will be on February 20th at 2:30 p.m. And so I'm going to go ahead and look at the weather for that race. In the day, it's going to be 72 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, with winds to 10 to 15 miles per hour and only a 2% chance of rain. Meanwhile, on Sunday night, it's going to be 61 degrees with mostly clear skies, with winds from 5 to 10 miles per hour with a chance of rain of 5%, which is actually, it was an improvement from a few weeks ago when I last checked the weather. So this Daytona 500 may not get rained out this time, which is very good to see. But who knows what will happen during the race that will cause a delay. There's been many different weird sources for red flags during the Daytona 500, from jet dryers exploding and pavement coming up. It's just crazy. And so, here's my pick for the Daytona 500. In my opinion, the strongest drivers will be some of the best at the plate tracks, who are Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, all those guys. And so I think it's going to be one of those guys, I don't know, for plate racing. And in my opinion, it'll make a real good, feel-good story. And I'm going to go with the latest owner-driver to come into the sport. Although he's been in the sport for a while, I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski, because plate racing is one of his best skills in NASCAR. And the reason why I'm saying feel good is because his father, Bob Keselowski, recently lost his battle with cancer. And so I want to see Brad get the win for his father and dedicate the win to him. So I hope he does it. And that's pretty much it for this week. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe for more episodes. Now, I had to re-record this section because it didn't record for some reason. I have no idea why, but this section of the video I'm recording on Friday morning, and we had the duels, and Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher won those, and they were primarily spread out. So hopefully that doesn't affect the 500. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're at the track, I hope you have a good time. And if you're not, I hope you have a great time wherever you are. I'll see you next week.